Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 11, text 27. Who is translating?
This is simultaneous.
Simultaneous. Where does it say? Tam eva mrityam jasita amritam tata daivam sarva atmana upehi jagat padayanam. Sit down. The young boys are restless, huh? They have some ends and a dotis or something. Where did we stop? Huh? Which one is next? Yasmai Balim Vishwarasrijaha Haranti Gavaha Yata Vai Nasi Dama Yantritaha. Tam eva mrityum amritam tatadaivam. Sarvatmanopehi jagat parayanam. Yasmai balim vishvasriju haranti. Gavo yatha vainasi dama yantrita.
Tam eva mrityum amritam tatadaivam. Tam eva mrityum amritam tatadaivam. Sarvatmanopeti jagat parayanam. Sarvatmanopeti jagat parayanam. Yasmai balim vishvasrijo haranti. Yasmai balim vishvasrijo haranti. Gavo yatha vainasidama yantrita. Gavo yatha vainasidama yantrita. Tam eva mrityum amritam tatadaivam. Tam eva mrityum amritam tatadaivam. Sarvatmanopehi jagat parayanam. Sarvatmanopehi jagat parayanam. Yasmai balim vishvasrijo haranti. Yasmai balim vishvasrijo haranti. Gavo yatha vainasidama yantrita. Gavo yatha vainasidama yantrita.
Ladies.
Tam eva mrityum amritam tatadaivam.
Sarvatmanopehi jagat parayanam.
Sarvatmanopehi jagat parayanam.
Yasmai balim vishvasrijo haranti.
Yasmai balim vishvasrijo haranti.
Gavo yatha vainasidama yantrita.
Gavo yatha vainasidama yantrita.
Tam unto him. Eva certainly. Mrityum death. Amritam immortality. Tata my dear son. Daivam the supreme. Sarva Atmana, in all respects, Upehi, surrender, Jagat, of the world, Parayanam, ultimate goal, Yasmai, unto whom, Balim, offerings, Vishvasrijaha, all the demigods like Brahma, Haranti, bear, Gavaha, oh, that means bear, bear, Gavaha, bulls, Yata, as, Vai, without fail, Nasi, in the nose, Dharma, by a rope, Yantritaha, controlled. Translation. My dear boy Dhruva, please surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate goal of the progress of the world. Everyone, including the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, is working under his control, just as a bull, prompted by a rope in its nose, is controlled by its owner. Purport. The material disease is to declare independence from the Supreme Controller. Factually, our material existence begins when we forget the Supreme Controller and wish to lord it over material nature. Everyone in the material world is trying his best to become the Supreme Controller, individually, nationally, socially, and in many other ways. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to stop fighting by his grandfather, who was concerned that Dhruva was adhering to a personal ambition to fight to annihilate the whole race of Yakshas. In this verse, therefore, Swayambhuva Manu seeks to eradicate the last tinge of false ambition in Dhruva by explaining the position of the Supreme Controller. The words Mrityum Amritam, death and immortality, are significant. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I am ultimate death, who takes away everything from the demons. The demons' business is to continually struggle for existence as lords over material nature. The demons repeatedly meet death after death and create a network of involvement in the material world. The Lord is death for the demons, but for devotees he is Amrita, eternal life. Devotees who render continuous service to the Lord have already attained immortality. For whatever they are doing in this life, they will continue to do in the next. And they will simply change their material bodies for spiritual bodies. Unlike the demons, they no longer have to change material bodies. The Lord, therefore, is simultaneously death and immortality. He is death for demons and immortality for devotees. He is the ultimate goal of everyone because he is the cause of all causes. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to surrender unto him in all respects without keeping any personal ambition. One may put forward the argument, why are the demigods worshipped? The answer is given here that demigods are worshipped by less intelligent men. The demigods themselves accept sacrifices for the ultimate satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyadya Deshatayane. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We can make a little more volume, then I don't have to go so close. Just a little more. Yes, so Dhruva Maharaj, as you remember, when he was a small boy, he left his mother's home. You know the whole story. And he fully surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You talked about this yesterday?
Not this point.
Not this point. We have to remember that. He already surrendered to Krishna. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Super Soul in the heart. And he had the Lord Vishnu's darshan. He could see him. There's a very nice, related to the point of seeing, having the darshan of the Lord, seeing him. There's a very beautiful verse in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, because in that verse it is explained that Kadachit Bhakta Vatsalyat Yadichet Drishatam Dishaho. That means when out of his causeless mercy Lord Krishna shows himself, reveals himself to the devotee, then the devotee sees the Lord with his mind, his purified mind. But the devotee thinks that he sees the Lord with these eyes, material eyes. But how can material eyes see a spiritual form? Not possible. So he sees the transcendental form of the Lord with the purified mind. But he thinks he's seeing with the eyes. A beautiful verse. Yeah. So, Dhruva Maharaj, he already saw the Supreme Lord Vishnu standing right in front of him by his purified mind. But just see, still he had to perform so many material duties. He was a king, Kshatriya, he even had to fight, just like Arjuna also. So we should never feel discouraged when we as devotees also have to perform so many different material responsibilities, material duties, material activities. Factually, for a devotee, they are not material, because they facilitate his own practice of Krishna consciousness. If we don't have a home, then how can we chant Hare Krishna? Without home, a little difficult. Sleeping underneath the bridges, you will have a hard time chanting your rounds peacefully. You need a quiet, peaceful place to sit, chant Hare Krishna. So for that you need material facilities. Of course we have a temple also, but how many devotees can live in a temple? Only limited amount. And what about all the rest? How many millions we have in Romania? Or let's say in Timișoara, how many? What's the population?
300,000.
300,000. What about them? The temple can only accommodate a few people, few devotees. What about all the rest? They have to engage in material activity. Of course we can open more temples, but still, it will always be limited. And the greater amount of population, they have to go on maintaining their families, living at home, and they have to be engaged in different material activities that cannot be avoided. Just like Dhruva Maharaj also, and Arjuna, and so many other great stalwart devotees, pure devotees of the Lord, they were also engaged in many material activities. Even Lord Brahma himself, he had a vision of the spiritual world. He was personally instructed by Lord Krishna himself. And yet, he was engaged in creating so many aspects of this material universe. So many. A king, you cannot imagine how many responsibilities, material responsibilities a king has. We cannot even imagine. For us it's already too much management to just manage one family or a small temple like this. We feel already we are doing too much management. But Lord Brahma, so many others, great kings in the Vedic culture, Yudhishthira Maharshi was the emperor, not just a king, he was an emperor. He had to manage the entire planet. And yet there were pure devotees of Krishna. So there's no contradiction. We should never think there's a contradiction. I cannot practice Krishna consciousness and at the same time perform my material duties. It is incompatible. We should never think in this way. Just like in the morning, when we wake up in the morning, we take a shower, right? I mean, you should, come on. I'm getting worried. You should take a shower in the morning. But this is not a spiritual activity in itself, is it not? The Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, these are our 9 activities of devotional service, 9 activities of bhakti. They are spiritual activities, chanting, hearing about Krishna, and so many serving, rendering some service to Krishna. These are spiritual activities. But taking a shower, you don't find this. The taking shower nam, that doesn't belong to the 9 activities of devotional service. But we do it. It's our duty. Brushing our teeth, also not a spiritual activity, but we do it. It's a duty. Similarly, we have so many other duties. Study, university, school, family, work, so many other things. They're not material if we do it in a Krishna conscious, with a Krishna conscious mind, in Krishna consciousness. I do it in order to facilitate my practice of Krishna consciousness. Then it is not a material activity any longer. It is simply a facility for your spiritual life, for your spiritual activities. Then of course we have to take advantage. We have a beautiful temple already so many years. How many years? 20 something? 27 years we have this temple. Not many people take advantage of it. Srila Prabhupada compared our temples with an oasis in a desert. The material society, spiritually, it is like a desert. If you go Timeshwara downtown, no spiritual activity is going on. You don't see people chanting Krishna's names, talking about Krishna, having conversation. You don't see this. All material activities. It is like a desert. These temples are like a oasis, water. Here we can hear about Krishna. Hear about our eternal existence. I explained yesterday, the Sat, Asat. Anything spiritual means Sat, it is eternal, everlasting. And nowadays people are so busy they don't have any time to hear about their eternal self. They have no time to hear about their eternal self. What an irony. No time to hear about your eternal life. I'm too busy. It is sad. It is really sad. We have such a wonderful opportunity and people don't take it. That's also our own responsibility to make them aware of it. Here you have a facility. Take advantage. That is preaching. The preaching means, preaching begins when people say no. Then preaching begins. If they all agree, then where's preaching? Preaching means someone disagrees. You tell them Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, and he said, no, I don't believe it. Then preaching begins. It's a challenge. Naturally, materialistic people, they don't believe in a supreme controller. Everything happened by chance. Chance is not a cause. By the way, chance is not a cause. Chance simply means you observe a repeated process. Some process is repeating itself. Then you can make that judgment, it happens by chance or not. Like flipping a coin. Will it fall on the head or tail? You have to observe a number of times so that you can conclude whether it falls on the head or tail is by chance or not. But nowadays people, they claim the cause of this material cosmic manifestation is chance. This is not a cause. So what is a cause? That remains a question. The question remains. What is the cause? Chance, sorry, is not a cause. What is the cause of this cosmic manifestation? They don't know. But we know. The cause is Krishna. Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Satcharacharam. Lord Krishna, but that's the problem with materialistic people. To imagine there's such a powerful being, just by glancing over material nature, everything is happening. The Lord Krishna, he impregnates material nature with the innumerable spirit souls. They cannot imagine, because if we would have such a power, if the man would have such a power, there would be a lot of pregnant women running around. Just by looking, they become pregnant. So we cannot imagine, such a powerful being like Lord Krishna. He is the cause. So even we devotees sometimes have a hard time. Maybe not in the beginning, because we have such a, how would you call it, such a innocent, we have such an innocent faith in Krishna in the beginning. Krishna, God, of course, He's God. So, but later on, when you go on practicing Krishna consciousness, it sometimes dawns at your, in your consciousness, in your mind, wow, Krishna is really, He's in charge of everything eternally. How is that possible? Why not me or someone else? This question might come up a little bit in someone's mind, even devotee's mind. How is it that Krishna, He is in control of everything eternally? Why not someone else? But then this why not someone else, okay, someone else, then you have the same problem. Why him now? So these questions only come up in a material mind. If the mind is conditioned by the illusory energy of Krishna, then this question comes up. Why is Krishna God? Why not someone else? It's a ridiculous question. But these questions develop when the mind is influenced by Lord Krishna's illusory energy, this Maya Shakti. Then all these questions come up, these ideas, doubts. Like Arjuna, in the Bhagavad Gita, he also had doubts. Krishna compared them in the Bhagavad Gita with demons. Srila Prabhupada talks about the demons. The demons does not necessarily mean they have two horns and a tail. Demons, it's a mentality, demoniac mentality. To deny that there's a supreme controller of everything, that simply means a demon. A demon cannot accept there's someone controlling me. They cannot accept that. They rather want to think that I'm controlling. I control others. I'm in control. That's the mentality of demon. And this is why Swayambhuva Manu, he was not very happy about Dhruva Maharaj's mentality of wanting to be such a controller that he just wanted to annihilate the entire Yaksha race. That means you want to control something. I finished them all. Why? Because of his brother, he was being killed, right? And Dhruva Maharaj, he became so upset. He wanted to demonstrate to the world what a righteous person he was. And Swayambhuva Manu, he didn't like that. And just to please the public, and to give that image, I'm such a righteous person. They killed my brother, therefore I will kill them all. They want to show that righteousness. The devotee should not have such an ambition. He should ask himself first, why did this happen? What is the purpose? Why does the Supreme Lord allow this to happen? He can control anything. He can do whatever he wants. So why did the Lord not interfere? Protect my brother. Why? That's the first question the devotee should have. Why does Krishna allow this to happen? Not become upset and then want to kill everybody. That's not a solution. Because then others will become also upset and then they want to try to kill you. It's just a vicious cycle. Then Dhruva Maharaj, he would have been killed by someone, and then someone else wants to retaliate for that. There's no end. And that really goes on in material society. It is envy, hatred. One nation wants to kill another nation. These wars are going on. Of course, nowadays, not previously, we had the First, Second World War. But the war goes on. Still, as many people die on a daily basis as during a war. Same situation. Because it's karma. You kill someone, then you have to be killed. That's a karmic reaction. And how many living entities are being killed on a daily basis in these slaughterhouses? It's unbelievable. They're screaming. Who was that one famous musician? Paul McCartney. He you know the former Beatles, these 4 kids. Anyway, he made a nice statement. And he's promoting vegetarianism his whole life practically. Very pious, very good. So he made that statement, if the slaughterhouses would be made of glass, then many people would become vegetarians. Because if they would see what goes on in these slaughterhouses, it is horrible. And there has to be some karmic reaction. Has to be. And this is why so many accidents are happening. People are being killed in a massive way, either adhyatmika, adhibaudik, adhidevik. So many different ways this killing goes on. People are dying. Karmic reaction. Or by some strange disease, it has to go on. So this was Swayambhuva Manu's point, don't retaliate, and this is not proper for a devotee. We are proud to have you in our dynasty. Dhruva Maharaj. He made the dynasty famous because he surrendered fully. At such a young age, he fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord, to Krishna, Lord Vishnu. He surrendered. And now you behave in this way. It is not proper. So stop this fighting. And but his ego was very strong. The mentality of a Kshatriya, Ishvara Bhava. Ishvara means controller. Bhava means a mood. Being in the mood of a controller, of a warrior, Kshatriya is very strong, that mood. They want to control. But at the same time, he was a devotee. And initially he could not accept, because his mood of a Kshatriya was too strong. But then Swayambhuva Manu made the point that just like a disease, someone might suffer a very, very devastating disease, but if the person takes on a regular basis the proper medicine, then that can bring the disease under control. The Swayambhuva made this point, just by regularly hearing, you have to hear from self-realized souls, from those who are not being controlled by the modes of material nature, by the modes of passion, anger. They're not controlled, but hear from them on a regular basis. That will bring your anger, your uncontrolled anger gradually under control. Just hear, listen, hear. So in whatever material condition we might be, that's the process. We just have to hear from self-realized souls on a continuous, regular basis, hearing, hearing, hearing. That will also gradually bring our material condition under control, so that we can use our proper sense of discrimination. What is beneficial for me? What is not beneficial for me? What is beneficial for the world, for other people? What is not beneficial? That sense of spiritual discrimination develops simply by hearing from self-realized souls. Shinvatam Svakata Krishna, Shava Punya Shavana Kirtana Punya. That is pious in itself, just by hearing about Krishna, hearing the Krishna conscious philosophy. This is pious in itself. It will purify the mind, purify the intelligence. Everything is being purified. So Swayambhuva Manu, he told Dhruva Maharaj, you have to be a little more humble. Don't think that you're the controller, supreme controller. Become more humble. Humility is as we pray every day in our Shikshastakam, Trinadapi Sunechina Taroiva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadahari. That it will be difficult to go on, to continue chanting the holy name of Krishna on a regular basis. If there's a lack of humility, it will become difficult. But if we somehow develop that humility, humbleness, then we can go on chanting the rest of our life without any problem. So Swayambhuva Manu told Dhruva Maharaj, don't be so proud. Always remember that you are not the supreme controller. Krishna is. It reminds me of a nice story. The king and the beggar. Which that story demonstrates the importance of practicing humility. Although in the beginning it might not be real humility, like when the new devotees, they just come to Krishna consciousness, when they enter into the temple room, they also make obeisances, they bow down, but perhaps not really with feeling or realization. They just do it because others are doing it. Okay, I also put my head on the ground. But maybe not so much realization. They do it because others are doing. But still, Lord Krishna sees that. Although maybe not with much realization, but still he's bowing down. So nice. So like this, there was one story of a king and a beggar. One day, someone was knocking at the door of the palace of the king, and the king, he told his servant, check out who's knocking. Who is it? So he opened the door, and there was a beggar. The king asked the servant, so, who is it? Looks like he's a beggar. I think he wants some food or something. So the king thought, oh, we can have some fun. Let him in. So the servant let the beggar in, came inside the court of the king. And the king told the beggar, let us have some fun. Tell him to sit down and then bring him some plate, a big plate full of so many different foodstuffs, eatables. Just bring him. But it is not, don't take any plate, don't take any food, just imitate you're holding a plate and you bring it to him. So the servant, he did it, And the beggar, he noticed there's no plate, nothing. Here, have some nice food, eat, there's some fresh salad, some fruits, whatever you want, just take it. And the king was smiling, and the servant, he was giggling. And the beggar, he didn't want to offend the king by pointing out, come on, what are you doing? There's no food. He didn't want to offend him. He just played along that game. Oh, such a nice food. Thank you so much. Can I take this, this salad? Go on, take. Oh, so tasty. And the king told him, the rasagula you can also take. Little halava over there, just take. Oh, so tasty. So he just played along the whole game. And then the king told him after the eating was done, he finished eating, then he told him, and you can also take, you see all these women over there? Yeah, very beautiful. There were no women. So you can take one, she will be your queen. The beggar said, really? The sixth one? I would like to take the sixth one from the beginning. The king said, there are only 5. Oh, okay, then I take the 5th one. So it will be your queen. And then the king told the servant, now take him out. And you see, there's so many palaces on the roadside. You can choose any palace. So the beggar, he played. I would like to have the palace, the 4th one. The king, so be it. It will be your palace. Then he slapped the beggar on the back and get out of here. So the beggar, he left in a very humble mood. And as the beggar walked away, the king, he had a change of heart. His heart changed. Actually, such a nice person. I made such fun of him, and he just played along. He was so humble. So the king had a change of heart and told the servant, get him back. So the servant was running, and king told me, there's something else the king wants to give to me? No, he said you should come back. So the beggar came back into the palace and asked the king, something else you want to give me? And he said, yes, because I'm very, very pleased, with your humility. You didn't protest, nothing, you just played along. We made so much fun of you. Now take a real foodstuff. And the servant brought plates of real foodstuff. Take a real wife. He brought some ladies. This will be your queen, and I will give you a real palace. So of course the beggar was so happy, happy end. So it is like that maybe in the beginning, as devotees, we play the game, we bow down, we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Not much realization, but Krishna sees, He's watching. And this is our hope. Just by practicing Krishna consciousness, somehow we will get Krishna's attention. And finally, Krishna's mercy. That we begin to truly realize the treasure which we receive, the treasure of Krishna consciousness, and Krishna will reciprocate by taking us home back to Godhead. Then we experience the real spiritual world, where everything is full of bliss, full of knowledge, no suffering. Now we cannot even imagine to have a body without any suffering. Can you imagine? No suffering, no old age, no death, no disease, no toothache. In the spiritual world, there are no dentists. Can you imagine? No dentist. The dentist, Krishna. I always remember when I went to the dentist, and at one point I thought, finally the work is over. And then he's just changing the drill to a bigger one. That's material life. You think now it's getting better, and it's just getting worse. But in the spiritual world, no, there's no suffering. We cannot even imagine. Vaikunta. The kunta means anxiety. Vai, no more. No anxiety about anything. We cannot imagine. This is why we tend to not even believe in such an existence. But it is there. As long as we are materially conditioned, we tend to feel that this material world is reality, because I can touch it, I can see it, I can smell it. The spiritual world, what is it? It's some airy, gassy existence. Because we think we cannot see, we cannot feel. No. That's the reality. Here, everything it is just a perverted reflection. Like the example we always give is of a plastic fruit and a real fruit. Like a plastic apple, for instance. It looks the same. And nowadays they do these plastic fruit. They look so real, you cannot even see the difference. It looks the same. They even put some water drops on it, you know? These plastic fruit, it looks so real. So same, shape is there, it looks exactly the same. But the vastu, in the Srimad Bhagavatam beginning verse, the Sanskrit word vastu is being used. Vastu, vastanam. Vastu means substance. It is substance, it is missing. It is not there in the plastic fruit. Everything looks exactly the same. But the substance, it is not there. It cannot nourish the physical body. That is lacking. So this is exactly like the spiritual world and the material world. The material world is a plastic, like a plastic replica of the spiritual world. Here we also have shape, we have form, so many things. We can even smell additional. Now this they didn't figure out yet, how to make a plastic fruit which also smells. Of course they could do it. And even taste. You bite and it would also be taste, but still the nourishing substance, it is not there. This is exactly like the material world. We can see, we can touch, we can taste, but the vastu, the substance to nourish the spirit soul, that is lacking, that is missing. This is why people ultimately, they can never be fully satisfied simply with material activities. Like a plastic fruit, you can touch, you can play, you can bounce it off the wall, whatever you want to do, but you cannot eat it. That's the problem. So the nourishing, spiritual nourishing substance for the soul, it is not existing in material objects and material activities. It is not there. And at one point, the living entity will realize it. If it's fortunate, at one point, it will begin to realize. And then it will take search for some spiritual path. So we are so fortunate that we came in contact with Krishna consciousness. We should always maintain a mood of gratefulness. Never become ungrateful. You have received the greatest treasure, never become ungrateful. Always remain in a grateful, thankful mood. Always respect people who try to practice Krishna consciousness. Always show some respect. They're so fortunate. To whatever extent they can. At least they try. That should be respected. They try to practice. And utilize your intelligence, because I was told that so many of you have intelligence. They're intelligent devotees, I heard. No? In Timishwar, very intelligent devotees. So use your intelligence by figuring out how to give this Krishna consciousness to the people in general. How to make it more attractive for them, so that they might also begin practicing Krishna consciousness and also begin to make their life auspicious and successful. That's the challenge. Thank you. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Any thoughts you have? Meaning is somebody thinking? Yeah. I don't know who was first.
If you allow me, please, to ask a question. You spoke about humility, and I wanted to ask, here humility is very appreciated, but outside in the real world, I notice that people that are humble and try to please everyone else are considered fools, and everyone takes advantage of them. And I see that usually at my workplace. Is it right to still act humble and let the other people consider us fools and take advantage, or should we put a tough facade and not play along their games?
Now there's that story of Narada Muni and the snake. You know that story. Narada Muni and the snake. You know, snake, biting snake. So the snake, one day a snake became a disciple of Narada Muni. Somehow it happened. It was a snake, but it surrendered, maybe because of previous life. But the snake wanted to surrender to the Supreme Lord, and it became a disciple. Narada Muni, he developed some compassion. Such a nice snake. And became a devotee. The snake became a devotee. Sometimes you see animals, they begin to eat prasadam, they associate with the devotees, some dog or cat. Cat, we have a cat here. See? Also taking prasadam. So the snake became a devotee. And exactly this is what happened, because now as a devotee you are supposed to be non-violent. And the children, the news spread, the snake became a devotee, Vaishnav. And the children, they thought, wow, so we take advantage. They took the snake by the tail and, twirled it around like this. And, the snake thought, I have to be humble, I cannot bite them. I'm Vaishnav now, I have to be non-violent. They just tolerate it. And they made so much fun with the snake, threw some dust on the snake. And then one day the snake approached Narada Muni, his guru, spiritual man. What shall I do? The children always, they tease me, grab me by the tail and twirl me around. What shall I do? And then Narada Muni instructed the snake, no, if this is happening, then just show your teeth. Shh, but don't bite. Show your teeth. So that we sometimes might have to do. If people want to take advantage of your humility, you practice humility, they want to exploit it, show your teeth. But don't bite. Don't bite means you don't get further entangled. You just be a little bit, strong, aggressive, but then you pull back. You don't go further, biting, real, getting, that we should avoid. And that you get nasty and someone then takes it, wants to retaliate, becomes nasty to you, and then at the end you wrestle on the ground. That we should avoid. But show your teeth. Although you're a devotee, you're humble, but if necessary, show your teeth. Don't allow that people exploit you. Like that. Like one time Srila Prabhupada mentioned, when it comes to preaching, when we preach, we have to be like lions. Like a lion. Strong, powerful. If someone tells you, I don't believe in God, you cannot be humble. Oh, okay, sorry. so sorry. yeah, this is, everybody has his own belief, and I understand. Yeah. You cannot be humble, you have to be like a lion. But then Prabhupada mentioned, but at home, when you come back to the temple, with the devotees you should not be like a lion. Then you should be like a lamb, very humble, respectful. So among the devotees, we should be humble, practice humility, tolerance. But when we are outside, then we have to be like a lion, show your teeth. Is this okay? Any other thoughts? Yeah.
I wanted to ask, why is diplomacy a bad quality, and how do you act?
Why what?
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy?
Diplomatic.
Mm-hmm.
Is a bad quality, and how you should act with people you don't like. If you are being nice to them, is that being diplomatic?
By people you mean whom?
Other people, if they...
Non-devotees, devotees?
Even devotees.
Even devotees.
Yes.
Now we come to the point. Anybody, somebody. Diplomacy. No, even you see, even if we might feel it is artificial, but that's the Vaishnava culture, spiritual culture. To be respectful, to show respect, to be humble. We might feel it's artificial, but it is not. We might feel it's not natural if I behave like this, but it is not. It's the quality of a Vaishnava. He is humble, he is tolerant. But then again, when it comes to even among devotees, if a devotee wants to exploit you, then that also you cannot tolerate. You should not tolerate. Because the devotee should not exploit others. That's the quality of a Vaishnava. He should not exploit others. So you cannot allow that. This would be false humility to facilitate the wrong behavior of a devotee, right? If you facilitate the wrong behavior of a devotee, this is wrong humility. Then you have to point out, this is not a proper behavior. But then again, this also has to be done properly. If someone is superior to you, you should avoid that. Better go to another superior devotee and tell him, and then he talks to that devotee. The etiquette. Now, how to properly behave, associate with the devotees who are equally advanced, approximately equally advanced in their Krishna consciousness, with how to associate with him, those devotees of an equal status, how to associate, behave in the association of those who are more advanced, those who are less advanced. This we have to learn, the proper Vaishnava etiquette. This helps you, this answer? Like that's the principle. If a more advanced devotee, or at least who is in a higher position than me, behaves toward me in a wrong way, then you should never do this directly. Tell that devotee in a higher position that you do something wrong to me. You should avoid that. Better is to go to someone else who is also in a higher position and then tell that devotee, I have some problem, and then he knows how to talk to that devotee. Because if you do it, it will not be accepted. Who are you? You are younger than me. I joined 1 week before Krishna consciousness than you. I know one shloka more than you. I'm more advanced. That's natural. Younger devotees, for elderly devotees, it is always difficult to accept instructions from younger devotees. This is natural. I think in family life also, how is it if an uncle or aunt tells you something wrong, you don't charge back directly. Rather you go to some relative, and then that relative will talk to that person. The same in Vaishnava association. We have to learn to associate with others according to the Vaishnava etiquette. This we have to learn. Then we can avoid unnecessary confrontation. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Regarding that example with the fruit, plastic fruit.
Mm.
How it is, it does not nourish the soul as it is, but how it is that...
I didn't understand.
So the plastic fruit...
This I understood, but then?
Okay, because it is plastic, it does not nourish the soul. But how it is that when we use it in Krishna's service, it nourishes the soul in the end, or...
Because Krishna, we have to translate? Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Because it is Lord Krishna's energy. So Krishna, he as the energetic source of the material energy, he can change the material energy into a spiritual energy. He has that potency, that power. So that, although it is matter, but it becomes spiritualized, since it is now connected with Krishna. The example is given of a electrician. He can utilize the electric energy in different ways in order to generate heat or cold. It's the same energy. But now he utilizes this one electric energy to generate cold through a refrigerator or heat through a heater. He knows how to do it. Same energy. So Lord Krishna is like the supreme electrician. He knows what to do with his energy. Although it is material energy, but he can transform it so that it has a spiritual effect. This is like when we offer material food to Krishna. It comes in contact with Krishna, now it becomes spiritualized. It has a spiritual effect. And Krishna can do it to whatever degree he wants. So this is up to him. Sometimes even to the point that the material food offered to Krishna disappears. There's nothing material left any longer. You cannot even see it anymore. It happened. There are stories like that. The food is being offered to Krishna, the plate comes back, food is gone. The pujari is away. What happened? Food is gone. Krishna completely transformed. But Krishna is so merciful, we offer the food, and then Krishna, alright, it is spiritualized, everything, but you can also eat. Imagine we would always cook, offer, and everything is gone. What will we eat? So Krishna, he spiritualizes, but still, whatever remains that we can also eat, we can nourish the physical body also. It's Krishna's arrangement. Whatever he wants to do. But it happened. During Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time even. The Sachi Mata, she offered some foodstuff to the deities, and then prasadam was gone. Disappeared. Whatever Krishna wants to do. Like the example is given of iron. Now you have a piece of iron bar, and you place it into the fire. Now it takes on the qualities of fire. You cannot argue, come on, this is just a piece of metal. No, now it has the same quality as fire. I don't believe it. This is iron. Okay, touch it. Yes. Same quality. So like this, although it's material energy, but it takes on the qualities of spirit. It has a spiritual effect. You eat it, you become purified. Consciousness becomes purified. So I would like to stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.